Hi everybody, welcome to another YouTube video on my channel Inglés con Tumbao Caribe. This is the place where you learn chunks to be fluent in English. Today we have a very special class. We're going to study phrasal verbs used in the context of work, and I'm going to teach you the most common phrasal verbs in this context. So let's get started. The first phrasal verb we're going to study is put off, which is very common in the context of work and business. And I'm going to give you a situation, a communicative situation, so you can memorize it more easily and of course use it in speaking. So we can start with a coworker. Imagine you have a meeting and your coworker is coming and your boss is coming as well, but apparently everybody's late, so you have to put off the meeting. You have to postpone it. So you could say, well, nobody's here. I think we have to put off the meeting and wait until everybody arrives. So you have the first phrasal verb, which is very common to talk about meetings, appointments, etc. The second phrasal verb we're going to study today is come up with. It's commonly used with plans, ideas, solutions, projects, etc. So it's basically to think of an idea, to produce an idea. It's, use your creativity. Imagine you have a meeting with your team and you have to create a marketing plan. So if you have a coworker who's very smart and finds a solution, you could say she came up with a brilliant plan for our marketing project. And that means she produced these ideas. She thought of it. So if you want to use come up with to talk about your work, you would normally need it in past, came up with, and it usually goes with some partner, some companion. So you could say I came up with a plan, with an idea, with a solution, with a project, and so on. The third phrasal verb we're going to study is bring something up, and it basically means to mention something. It's very common in meetings. So you could be talking about, ideas for a marketing plan. We can keep that topic. Imagine after the conversation, after the meeting, 30 minutes, 1 hour later, you talk about what was discussed. You could say, my friend Jose or my coworker brought up this plan. That means he mentioned this plan. Another example could be a conversation with a coworker before a meeting, and maybe they mentioned something that's really interesting. So you could say, well, don't forget to bring that up or bring it up at the meeting. The fourth phrasal verb is one of the most common phrasal verbs, not only when you talk about work, but pretty much in every communicative situation, and it's figure something out or figure out, which is find a solution. So you could say, for example, imagine you're trying to improve something at work, I don't know, customer service, customer satisfaction, because it's a problem, it's something you haven't been able to solve. So you could say, we have to figure out how to improve customer service. Or you could say, we have to figure it out. So that it would refer to something that you mentioned before or the thing that you actually want to improve. The fifth phrasal verb we'll study today is show up, which basically means to arrive, to be present at a place. It's commonly used in negative, and it's very common when you talk about meetings as well. So you could say, where's Jose? A coworker or somebody who needs to be at the meeting. And you could say, well, he hasn't shown up yet, or he didn't show up. Phrasal verb number 6 is come up, and we shouldn't confuse it with come up with. Come up alone means or refers to something that happens unexpectedly. I could say, well, I had a meeting at 9 a.m., but something came up, so I'm not going to be able to make it. Something unexpectedly happened, and I'm not going to be able to arrive on time or to show up. Come up is commonly associated with emergencies or things that happen that don't let you stick to your routine or to your plan. So maybe you have to be at work at 9 a.m. and if something comes up, you can't make it. You can't show up at that time. Phrasal verb number 7 is slack off. It's a phrasal verb I particularly like because I do it and I think a lot of people do it too. So basically, if you slack off, you don't make the same effort you normally do when you're working. Or you work less hard, or you kind of relax. So I could say, well, on Fridays, I'm very tired, so I tend to slack off. That means my breaks are a little bit longer, or maybe I spend some time on my phone, or I don't send the same number of emails I normally do during the week, or in my case, I teach fewer classes, etc. It could be seen as negative, but I think everybody slacks off, especially on Fridays, and I could say also on Mondays because it's the first day of the week. So sometimes you are at the office or maybe at home if you work from home and you have many things to do, but you can't finish them on time because other things come up, other things happen, and you get behind with work. So that phrasal verb means you couldn't do everything you had to do on time, and now it's kind of piling up. When this happens, people usually stay until 9-10 p.m. so they can finish their work on time. You could also say fall behind with work, and like I said, it's basically not be able to finish something on time. Phrasal verb number 9 is catch up with, and I would say it's connected to the idea of getting behind with work. Because if you get behind with work and you can't do things on time, then you have to catch up, which is to reach that expected level. So for example, if you had to send 20 emails today and you couldn't, so you have to catch up. That means, well, I sent 8 emails. That means I have to complete the other 12 emails so I can catch up. I can reach the level that my boss, for example, is expecting. Catch up is also common to talk about industries and companies. So for example, you could have 2 competitors and maybe one is more advanced or sells more, and then this second competitor has to catch up to reach the same level as the advanced company. The last phrasal verb for today is get along with, and it's basically used to talk about good relationships. So I could say, I get along with my coworkers, or I could also say I get along well with my coworkers, which basically means I have a good relationship with them. You could also say get on with, which is the British alternative of this phrasal verb. Now it's time to review. Read them out loud, make phrases and post them in the comments. And if you want to practice even more, check out the description. I left a PDF there for you to practice more these phrasal verbs. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you soon for another class about chunks. Take care.